Hello everyone, today I want to show you how to build a create mod train. We will be starting with a very basic version and then move on to something more complex like the train behind me here. I'm Uberswe and I'm currently on my Patreon server, Gearworks SMP, while recording this guide. I've been working on my train station that you can see here behind me, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to show you all how to build a train. This train will be compatible with Create 0.5 and 6.0, and hopefully future versions of the Create mod as well. I won't be using any add-ons for this video, but I will put some suggestions towards the end of the guide. I will do my best to cover everything in this guide, but if I happen to miss something, please leave a comment down below or join my Discord, and me or my community will be sure to help you. Now, let's go ahead and get started. These are the items you're going to need to build the very basic train that's just going to show you how trains work in general. You're going to need a train station for placing the train, and then train casings for actually making the bogies of the train. So, first, to place a train station, you're going to look on the track, and you can see the direction changes depending on which way I'm looking on the track. We want the train to go this way, so we're going to look that way, right click to place this marker on the track, and now we can place our train station. So this train station is now connected to this marker. To build the actual train, you want to right click on the station and click on this icon here, create new train. Once you've clicked that, you'll see that there's like a blue marker right here. And on that blue marker, we can take our train casing and right click like so, and that will show us our boogie. And I believe we can also take an empty hand and right click on this, and it will change into a different type of boogie. So you have large boogie, or we have the small version. It's a little bit hard to hit this. I guess you have to aim right here. I'm wondering, yeah, you have to aim like at the track. So just do that, and that will change to boogie type. Now, to like assemble this, it's not going to work if you're clicking this now. It's going to say no structure attached to boogie 1. So we can't assemble a train yet. We still need a few parts, and that's going to be a seat, which we can place right here. Obviously, if you're building like a decorative train, you might want the seat in a different place. And we also need some train controls. Every train needs train controls. So we're going to jump up here, and we're just going to shift and right click, and that's going to give us our train controls, and that's not on the train. Now, these are placed the wrong direction. As you can see, it's facing this way because it's on this part of the block. So this is wrong, and if you do this, you will get attach at least one forward-facing train controls block. Are you missing super glue? We're also missing super glue, but we need this to face forward. So to change that, we can jump up here on top and just right click it, and you can see that it has changed direction. So now it's facing that way, and then we can right click it again, and now it's going to be facing forward. So now this is facing correctly. However, if we try to assemble, we're still going to get the same error, and that is because we are missing the super glue. So grab some super glue and just glue your seat to the boogie, and you're going to see you have this area selection here. I would not do this because then you risk gluing this block that's going to be up there, because it's an empty air block right now. So don't do this. That's not a good way to glue. You want to glue small sections for the most part. There are exceptions to this rule, but yeah, for the most part, you want to do as small as possible and only glue blocks. You don't want glue like spanning out to other areas. And then we can glue our train controls just like so. So we have done 2 sections of glue here. And now that we have that, we can go ahead and try to assemble our train again. And now you're going to see that it says unnamed train, and we can go ahead and name our train whatever we would like. So we'll name this one Uberswe's train, and we'll click the check mark, and now you can see it's Uberswe's train. And whenever this arrives at a station, that's what people will see as the train. And we can actually jump in this here, sit on the seat, and we can also grab the train controls by right-clicking them with an empty hand, like so. And if I F5 like this, you can now see that I can drive the train forward, just like so, by holding W. And we can go backwards by holding A. And then if you'd like to arrive at a train station, you can hold W again and then hold space, and it will actually park at the station. And if you see that flag on the station over there, that means that the train is actually like parked at the station. If it's like that, it means it's not parked at the station. And if we go past the station, you can also see that now we missed it. It's also not there. So we do need to hold space in order to park it. I'm sure you could park it manually, but yeah, that's a little bit difficult. So this is the easy way to do it. Let's say we want to make changes to our train and we want to add like another wagon or something or carriage to the train. Then we can go into the train station again. We'll see Uberswe's train here and we can click disassemble train. And now it's in assembly mode, which means the blocks can be modified. When it's assembled, it's a contraption, so you can't actually like break the blocks. Now you can see that there's green here, which means we have one boogie right here. And then we have this blue, which is room for more boogies. So we can put down a train casing here, for example. And what's going to happen now is this train casing is automatically going to connect with that, but I believe it needs to have glued blocks to it. Yeah. So you need to have some kind of block to this in order for it to actually assemble, I believe. So there you go. Now we have a second boogie, which automatically gets connected to the first boogie. So they're all part of the same train, but this is now a carriage, which will kind of turn on its own and just get pulled by this cable or chain or whatever it might be that you have right there. But we'll go ahead and make this a little bit larger. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to take a train casing and place it right here, just like so. And then we're going to go ahead and take our super glue and just glue these together as one long piece, just like that. And what we're going to do now when we assemble this, you're going to see it's 3 boogies and we hit assemble. And this is now one single carriage. There's no rope connecting these two because they're glued together. However, we still have our rope here connecting these two. So if we go ahead and get in our seat, just like so, and right click on the train controls, we can now see when we drive, everything is kind of stuck together, but that is a carriage. So if I go into my little roundabout that I have here, you'll see that it kind of turns on its own. Let's say we happen to do this where we ended up on the wrong train tracks here. So now we're about to collide with this train and we want to be on that other track. Then what we can do is hop into first person mode again, and then we can just shift click to stop controlling the contraption or the train, and then shift click to get out of our seat. And then you can grab your create mod wrench and we can just right click on the boogie. You want to do it like right here generally. And this is going to give you like a green line where you can place the train. And we can place it fairly far. It's not an infinite distance, but like probably like 20 blocks or so is how far you can place it. And it's also going to give you different directions. So if I look this way, then our train is going to face that way. So you can see now our train is kind of facing the same way as it was, but it's facing the wrong way. So we need to change the direction. So we can right click on our train again, and we can place it facing the opposite way, just like so. So You're very strong with the crate mod. You're able to pick up entire trains and just flip them around on the tracks. It's very convenient. Maybe not that realistic though. Now I've shown you a very basic train, and next I'll be showing you how to make this train right here behind me. But first, I'd like to mention the sponsor of this video, which is my server, Gearworks SMP. Thanks to my Patreon supporters, I am able to run Gearworks SMP, and I take pride in the stability and performance of the server. Currently, the server is made up of 9 individual fabric servers with a total of 128 gigabytes of RAM. The inventory is synced between all survival servers, and we even have a dedicated mining server to preserve the world. The goal is long-term play and stability, and we use daily offsite backups in order to be prepared for the worst-case scenario. Our creative server also features Axiom and World Edit to allow for the highest levels of creativity. Every once in a while, we also hang out and do minigames on the minigame server. If you'd like to join, simply head over to my Patreon to become a paid member. I also want to give a shout out to Shawnee Mac 99, Karen Stinky Feet, Rocket Riding Rat, and Botanical Relay, as well as Carbon Beer, for helping me collect materials for the train tunnels on the Southeast server. Thank you so much for helping me build this amazing train tunnel. Now, let's go ahead and build our train. This right here is all the parts that I'll be using to build this train. All of them should be available with vanilla crate, so all you need is the crate mod. And I also like to use EMI, as you can see here on the side, where I can like search for different blocks and stuff. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some train casings, and we're going to go ahead and place our bogies. So let's go ahead and set our station to create a new train mode, or train assembly mode. And we'll place one train casing here, and then we're going to place another train casing right after it. But this one is going to be the like larger train casing, or larger boogie right here. So we want like 2 small wheels and then a large wheel back here. And this is kind of where we'll be sitting and controlling our train. And then we need a little bit of space here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and maybe go 2 steps out like that. Let's see if that works. And then I'm going to go ahead and place my next boogie with 1 space in between these 2. So I'm going to place it right here. And that's going to leave us a little bit of room for a ladder here in the middle in our carriage that's going to go behind the locomotive, which is going to go right here. Now, for the base of the train, I like to use polished deep slate, and just having polished deep slate slabs, the regular blocks, and also polished deep slate stairs. And that's usually what I like to keep as a base. And what I'll do first is I'll just connect my boogies like that. And I see I have some glue left over from building a previous train. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that. But yeah, I just like to connect them like that. And then same thing with the carriage back here. Just connect those 2. And then I might put up a few more blocks where I know that I'm going to be placing different things. So yeah, maybe one here and maybe one here in the front. So that's like the basic structure, just like that. And then here in the front, we'll probably have like a little, I don't know, little catcher guard or something. There are mods that can add like nicer guards, I guess they're called. I don't know. I'm not a trained person in real life, so I wish I knew what they were called. If you know, please leave a comment down below. It'd help me out a lot if I knew the terminology a bit better. But yeah, and then I like to just put the deep slate slabs just like so. And I'm gonna leave this open here because this is like a large wheel, and we'll put our seat up on top of this. So we'll do the same thing on the other side, just leaving that open. And then, trying to think of how I want to do this. Yeah, we can probably put some stairs here. I think it looks kind of nice on the boogie like that. But you could put slabs here as well. So we'll just put stairs there, and then over here. So we'll put slabs here, slabs here. And we're going to put slabs like so, and then stairs on top of our boogies. Just like so. And that has now given us like a base platform where we can build everything else on top of our train. What we can do now is we can put some ladders on this train. So we have this brass ladder here, and this will be for accessibility. So there will be one ladder for our locomotive to get in on the back here. And then we'll have one ladder here as well. And we'll put a ladder right here on the side, one on the back here, and one up here like so. And now we can actually easily get up on top of our train so we can kind of see what we're doing, what we're building. Of course, there are like mods like create jetpack, which will allow you to like fly and hover. And you could also like build this in creative mode if you really wanted to. Next, we're going to go ahead and get our crushing wheels. So I like to use these for like making the train like a bit round here in the front. There are other mods that adds blocks in this shape, but for vanilla crate, you can definitely use crushing wheels to kind of decorate your train just like this. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our fluid tank because that can go right here. And we can turn this into a boiler by placing a steam whistle on it, just like so. And now we have a boiler. Next, we're going to go ahead and take our, I believe we have some gray seats. Yes. We'll take the train controls as well. We're going to have train controls right here. And then we can place our seats just like so. And now this will allow us to sit and control the train. We could also replace one of these seats with a blaze burner. A blaze burner is the most reliable way for having a driver on a train because they don't tend to fall off or die as they're driving. But you could have any mob pretty much, like a chicken or a zombie or a villager who's actually doing the driving of your train. Next, we can go ahead and grab our andesite wall here. And we're just going to go ahead and put this up just like so to add a little bit of structure here. And then we're just going to go ahead and take our copycat panels here. And now we're going to add some walls to the train. So I can just shift and then left click in order to place the first one. And then you get this little arrow here, which will allow you to place the other ones. And here we can go ahead and do that and then use a wrench to remove that. So we kind of get this like box structure up here for our train. We can also go ahead and add some copycat panels back here. Yeah, if you mess this up, you can just, right click with your wrench to get rid of any panels that have been placed the wrong way. And then we go over just like so. And we also need a little window here in the front, basically. Ta-da! And that's like our locomotive structure there. And then for this carriage here, we'll do something similar. So we'll go up just like so. And then we're just going to be adding walls here. And we have now added that all the way around our train carriage, as well as our locomotive. Now to decorate these, we can grab some Viridium. You could choose pretty much any block for this that is compatible with the copycat panels. And then you can decorate. And if you happen to place one wrong, I believe you can just right click once and it will, get rid of the block. Oh yeah, it places it in my inventory. So any wrong places you can just, or any wrong placement, you can just right click with the wrench and it will remove it. We do have some slabs that we need to put here on the front. So let's build up a block here just for accessibility. And we're going to get our cut Viridium stairs and our cut Viridium slab. Just like so. And we're going to place one stair right there. and one stair right there. And then I'm just going to place slabs all the way down the front, just like so. Now we kind of have this, like, I don't know, this edge, which is green, so you don't have the crushing wheels sticking out so much. And here on the front, we can actually take our green placard. You can make any color placard you'd like. It doesn't have to be this green color. And we'll place it right there. And then I like to put a block in the middle here. You could put like glowstone or something to make it look like a light. This is kind of like fantasy build for me, so I figured why not put green there as well. It looks kind of neat. We also have our frame glass. So these copycat blocks are actually going to be transparent windows. And now we get to building the roof itself. I believe we can put a full block just like so. And then I like to put stairs on either side, just like so. And then we'll put stairs here. I guess we'll put stairs here as well, and stairs here. And this just kind of keeps the space kind of open. So I'm just going around with stairs. And for this part, we'll do the same thing. We're just going to go out with some stairs, and then we're going to break these. And then for the top of this, like for the roof, we're going to use cut Veridium slabs. So as a temporary measure, we'll just build up here. So that column is temporary. It's not going to be permanent. And then we're going to place 2 slabs just like so. And it's important here that you don't leave something floating. So everything has to connect with the flat surface. So it can be like partial blocks, but if I only place a slab like floating up on top here, like if I do this will not glue to the rest of the train because it's only touching the edges. It doesn't have a flat surface to connect, so this will not stay on your train. You have to have flat surface and then flat surface connecting. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So I see a lot of players making that mistakes while they're building trains. So that's why we need that. So here, I'm also going to go ahead and put a block right here, just so we have like a flat surface to connect to. I could also put this on the inside actually to make it look a little bit nicer. So let's go inside. We'll get rid of our column here. And right here in the center, we're just going to place a slab right there because now we have flat surfaces connecting this floating block on top. We actually need some copycat steps because we have the same issue here on the side. Our walls here, these copycat panels, they're also only touching via the edges, as you can see. So we do need something to connect them. So that's why I'm putting copycat steps here, just to connect them. And you would only need like one copycat step to connect the wall. But just to make it look nicer, I am gonna go with copycat steps all the way around. And then once we have all those copycat steps all the way around, we can go ahead and decorate them with our Veridium blocks. Next, we're going to go ahead and decorate our train a little bit. So we're going to take train doors, lanterns, dark oak trapdoors, piston extension poles, and the green seats. So for adding the doors, what I like to do is go inside the train, and then you see the ladder here. I like to look at the ladder and place the door, and that's going to place it like on the outside of the train. And we'll do the same thing here, and here as well. And on the locomotive, we're also going to place a train door, just like so. Then we're going to go ahead and place down our seats all in the corners here and in the middle. And we're going to use our piston extension poles to make like little legs for our tables, which we're going to make using the trapdoors. So now when you sit on the train, you're going to have like little tables where you can, I don't know, where you can eat and stuff. And we're also going to put some lights up because, you know, it's a little bit dark in here. So we'll have 2 lanterns to light up our carriage. And yeah, now our train carriage is ready to transport real people. Well, almost. We just need to glue it first. Now, the final thing we need to do is to glue our train. I've given myself a stack of stone here just to use as placeholders. I like to have a few extra blocks to, yeah, just when gluing a train. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make boxes that are going to go from the bottom corner here all the way up to the opposite side top corner, which is going to be up here. So just to get those corners, I'll place 1 block here. That's going to be 1 corner. Well, actually, now that I say that, let's get up here. That's going to be our corner because we want to make sure to glue that as well. So we're going to have 1 corner up here. And then we're going to have another corner down here. You don't need to glue all the way down to the wheels, just where the top of the boogie is. That's where you need to glue. So yeah, 1 corner is going to be here. We want to make sure that we're 1 block out because we want to glue these panels here. And what we do is we glue 1 section at a time. So this first locomotive with the 2 boogies here is 1 section. So this will be 1 glued train. Now, when you do this, you want to be careful because if I have like, I don't know, some trees, some leaves or something like touching the train, they're also going to get glued. So what you could do is you could go in and glue like individual parts, kind of like we did on this train. But for larger trains, I like to just glue like this. And then you have to be careful of, you know, when you're disassembling your train, that you're not doing it in an area where everything's going to like catch to it. And now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for our carriage. So we're going to go out 1 just like so. This is going to be 1 corner. And we want to make sure that it doesn't intersect with our other glue box. So you can see this is not inside of that glue box. So that's very important. You don't want them to overlap. And then our other corner is going to be up here. But since this is actually 1 taller here, we're going to need to go up this, like that high. Oh, and I see I missed a block over here. So we'll just right click here to set our first point. And then we're going to right click up here in the top corner to set that point. And now we've glued our train and we can get rid of these blocks as well. And the corner blocks here. So you can modify the height of a steam whistle using another steam whistle. It's not actually going to use the second steam whistle, but you just need it in your hand as an item. So we can actually make this a little bit taller, maybe 1 more. And then we can also use our wrench to make it either skinnier or fatter. So I'm going to make mine pretty fat and pretty tall. And there we go. Now we've modified our train and we can go ahead and assemble it again. And now we jump back into our train. We right click the train controls to start driving. And I'll go ahead and F5 so we can see the outside view. And we'll hold W to go forward. And as you can see, our train is now running. Oop. It's working very well. The first maiden voyage of Uberswe's train on the Gearworks SMP. And that's how you build a crate mod train. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know in the comments down below. Now, to give you some ideas of mods that you could use to enhance your trains. For adding more features and designs, you can use Create Steam and Rails, as well as Create Copycats Plus. There is also Create Design and Decor, and also Create Bells and Whistles. All of these are really good choices. You've now made it to the end of the video, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of my content. Also, I want to give a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters as you make all of what I do possible. Thank you.